So you've seen the thumbnail and you clicked on this video. So stay tuned and I'll tell you why I have no respect for Jeff Hardy. So one of the major questions I always get at shows are, who don't you like? What professional wrestler don't you like? Like, who do you hate? Who do you have heat with? And that's one of those major questions that all fans ask you. Why don't you get along with so-and-so? Or because they think they're in the know. Here's the catch. I don't hate Jeff Hardy. I don't despise him. I just don't have any respect for him because of the history of the two interactions that I've had with him. And here's why. So to get a full understanding, I'll take you back to a time when me, Neil Nitro, and Ken Magnum went up to CWF Burlington, and it was me and Neil versus Ken and Ashley Walker, which was a pretty good match, really nice company, great exposure for us. One of the things that I'll always remember is that Jeff and Matt Hardy, Shannon Moore, and Shane Helms showed up at the show because they live close by. So they just kind of came up to hang out. I guess they knew some people that were working the shows and they were buddies with them and whatnot. So throughout the show, as guys were coming back, Shane, Shannon, and Matt were giving advice. Hey, don't do this. Why'd you do that? This would look better. Think about putting this in a different spot. You know, they were giving really good veteran advice to the young guys, and some of them not so young. But at that time, you know, that was really impressionable on me, and I thought that was, you know, these guys are taking this time out of their day. These guys are in a contract, whatever. Now, Jeff Hardy was there with those four. When he pulled up, one, he didn't ride with those guys. He had somebody else that he came with. So, and they kind of stayed off to their cells. And at one point, one of the guys came up and said, hey, you can't go over there because that's where Jeff is, and he doesn't want to be bothered. And in my head, I'm thinking, you're a famous wrestler at a wrestling show and you don't want to be bothered. How much sense does that make? But regardless, so be it. No issues whatsoever. You know, I just came off as him, you know, maybe he had a bad day. Fast forward to AEW Power Pro, which was unfortunately a booking that me and Neil took for Thomas Simpson. And at that time, we got to work with Bobby Houston and Mr. Elite Jake Manning. Not the Man Scout Jake Manning that everyone's used to now. Mr. Elite Jake Manning was totally different character. So Otto's like 6'5", 280, nothing but muscle. And he's teaming with Mr. Elite Jake Manning, and he's teaming with, and they are teaming with Derek Rise. And they're teaming up against me, Neil Nitro, and TJ Mack. I think Kirby was hurt at the time, so TJ didn't have a tag partner. So fast forward throughout the match, some funny stuff happened that I'll show you later, but Neil Nitro ended up legitimately getting knocked out from a forearm, and then at the end of the match, you know, everything was good to go. We go back in the back, and then comes the story. So obviously everybody knows the history with Thomas Simpson and the Hardys and all this. Well, the main event of that show was Jimbo Fox, who's not a wrestler, or wasn't at the time, against Eric Jones, which is man-child of ADD. So the catch is that Eric has kidnapped Jimbo Fox's daughter, and Jimbo's coming in and he's gonna fight to get her back. And that was the whole main event, was Jimbo and Eric are fighting. And I mean, it's not really a wrestling match, it's just Eric pretty much trying to carry him through the match and try to make it look good. And it was really well done for the experience that Jimbo had at that time. I don't think he'd ever really had a full match. But fast forward a little bit from that, he'll actually end up doing like the whole rip-off Mankind Cactus Jack gimmick, which was, he actually did really well. So the finish to the match, Eric rolls outside, grabs a chair, and this is one of those crappy, hard plastic chair where the seat is like, I don't know, 12 inches by 12 inches or something. It's like a foot by foot. It's really, really small, and it's really, really hard, and there's no give. Eric runs out, grabs a chair. He's going to finish off Jimbo. Comes back in, goes to give him the big chair shot. And there was this big roll down door outside of where the ring was. And you see Jeff Hardy slide in. He slides under the roll up door, slides in the ring, grabs the chair from Manchild. Manchild turns around and he nails him with it. I can't remember for sure if the chair was folded and he hit him with the backside, but regardless, the chair itself is not one you want to give a chair shot with. It is super hard plastic. He's lucky he didn't pull half his skull off. So Manchild's just taking this huge chair shot. The crowd's going nuts because it's Jeff Hardy. Jeff, he feeds around. Jeff gives him the twist of fate. Eric is selling the crap out of it. He's getting himself into place for the Swanton. And then you see Jeff go up. And he literally goes up for 0.2 seconds, jumps off, and does not hit anything but Cracker's head. So basically his butt, back, whatever catches on the Swanton, landed on nothing but Manchild's head. So in the video you can actually see nothing else getting hit but his head. And a lot of people would say, oh man, accidents happen in the ring, and they do. They happen all the time, and I totally understand. But the catch is that when you're done, especially if you hurt someone or could have hurt someone, you go and check on them. Hey man, you want to make sure you're okay. I want to make sure that everything's good to go. Well, the catch is Jeff never came over. I guess he big timed him and just didn't check on him, didn't care, didn't give two craps whether or not he actually could get up and go to work the next day. And at that time, yeah, I mean, Eric did work a job. He does, provide for himself. You got to have a job. You got to get up and go to work. You got to have insurance. But Jeff didn't come over, didn't check on him, didn't say nothing, didn't send word, he could have just sent somebody and say, hey, go check on him, make sure he's okay. Nobody came and said anything. And to me, that just shows that you don't care about anybody but yourself. And that's why I have no respect for Jeff Hardy. So yeah, did it suck? Absolutely. Luckily, Eric was fine. I guess he's got a tougher skull than we all realize, but if I would have taken that chair shot and then taken that Swanton on my head, I would have probably easily had a concussion. If not, I would have probably ended up in a hospital somewhere. But the main thing to me is that stuck out is that when I was trained, we were taught that you take care of each other.
No, cannot. No.